The lid's closed, but I can't see a lock. This scarf could prove useful at some point. Ooh, almost got caught there. I'll struggle to get my hands on the scarf as long as reception guests are wandering around. I'll struggle to get... No way. Can't you see that very official-looking cordon? I can't get there. I'll just take the red... No, what the hell. I'll take the whole bloody thing with me. Why not? That was close. What is wrong with these people and their bladders? I really don't... They didn't... I should leave... These people need to learn how to hold their bladders. We used to go 48 hours with our legs crossed in intensive training. Let's just close this whole area off. It's summer. No one really needs a beautiful scarf like this. A meter of the finest cashmere wool. A bottle of champagne and a glass. If the plonk were cheaper, it'd be the spit of my bedside table. There's a champagne cork in this glass. I'll have that, shall I? The cupboard door is locked. Surprise, it's locked. Collecting champagne corks isn't one of my hobbies, but I'll hold on to the little wire cap. I could probably use this to pick the lock, if there was a lock on the case to pick. Which, if you hadn't worked it out already, there isn't. It's a pretty basic lock. I should be able to get it open. This cupboard is full of cleaning supplies. I'll take a mop and... yes, why not? A jar of hydrochloric acid. The acid's eating through the lock.
I have been searching these exhibits for over 3 hours. Where's the Piriris map?
As I told you, Countess, most of your research material was moved to Wavelsburg Castle last week.
I am personally affronted that you would exploit my absence in this way. You will regret this, Schauberger.
Maintain your composure, Countess. This decision was out of my hands. My research could be conducted at any of a number of sites throughout the country, and to be honest, I was far from thrilled about being moved to a laboratory in the center of the city.
The fact that I was not informed of this move remains absolutely unacceptable. Who gave the order?
It came from the very top, from the minister himself, or so I've heard.
The minister?
Are you surprised? I heard that some of your so-called brothers of the Order carry a great deal of weight with the minister, and they convinced him to move your research to the castle.
You should know that I am by no means a member of the Teil Society. They merely pay me for my scientific expertise.
Whatever you say. In any case, your mysticism-loving friends apparently decided that this museum was no longer a suitable location for their club, and they presented the castle near Paderborn to the minister as a fitting alternative. He was so taken with the idea that the move was made immediately. Your exhibit items and documents were packed up and taken directly to Wewelsburg Castle. In return, my employees and I were forced to move from the pastoral Brandenburg countryside to the city so that the military command can keep a closer eye on our work.
How unfortunate. But the fact remains that one of the exhibit items, the Piri-Reis map, is absolutely vital to my research. I shall go to the ministry to resolve the issue in person before setting out immediately for Paderborn. You there, battalion leader.
Yes, Frau Countess.
Guard this bag until I return from the ministry. Its contents are extremely valuable. If necessary, you are to defend it with your life. Do I make myself clear?
Jawohl, Frau Countess.
That's got to be the Eye of the Dragon. Sounds like the Piri-Reis map, however, is now in some castle near Paderborn.
Countess von Hagenhild is gone. We can begin the test. All displays check out. Let's get started. Please set the power to the lowest level. We don't want things flying around the room. I am now activating the drive impulse. It would be best to hold on to something. So far, so good. Please cut the power supply now. Excellent. My friend, our new aircraft will soon make history. Let's check the conduits. Even the smallest leak during our next test could ruin everything.
Okay, this is my chance. I need to get my hands on the eye. Damn, the handle was loose. It broke off.
I'll shove the handle between the lid and the frame of the display case, give it a little jerk, and... Open sesame. I'll just borrow a piton from the mountain climbing equipment. The movie camera looks like junk, and I'm not too keen on owning a pair of Ernst Schaefer's old woolen socks either. Nothing could be simpler. It's worth a try. Tying the scarf to the piton may open up brand new avenues of adventure. I'll use the scarf to tie the piton to the mop handle.
If I'm careful, I should be able to use this to move the lever upwards without anyone noticing. Low setting or maximum power? I think I'm more a maximum power kind of guy. When I was a kid, I used to practice this at my parents' New Year's parties. Just give it a good shake, and then aim it like a K-98 rifle.
What's happening? Hold on to something!
What's going on out there?
You know, sometimes I can be really mean. Is the urge to laugh maniacally a bad sign? I'll stick the handle back into the door. Hope it'll still open. Bingo. Oh, it's just a fire hose. I was kind of hoping it'd be the Piri-Reis map or something. I'll tie the loose end to the railing. What should I do with the loose end? I can use the hose to make my way across to the office. I spy with my little eye. I'll take the eye and get the hell out of Berlin. I can use the fire hose again to get back into the museum. Then I'll have to travel to this Wewelsburg castle. Without the Piri-Reis map, the Eye of the Dragon is worthless. The map's the only way to find the second key to the gate to Shambhala.
What is it, Huxley?
Well, sir, a certain Mr. Kleist would like to speak with you. He showed up unannounced and is somewhat overbearing. Shall I send him away?
No, certainly not. Send him in.
You may stay seated, Governor. I have no wish to take up too much of your valuable time.
Then what is it I can do for you?
You have already done something for me. No additional soldiers were sent to Tibet.
Those were your conditions.
Indeed. But it seems that perhaps I need to explain those conditions a little more clearly. There was to be no interference from your side at all.
I don't understand.
Paddock, was it really necessary to set your dog on us? Does your son mean so little to you, Governor?
You promised to give me some sign that he's still alive.
All in good time. Pray instead that we can eliminate Paddock quickly. And I'm warning you for the last time. Stay out of this. Have a pleasant evening, sir.
Is there anything I can do for you, Governor?
I severely doubt it, Huxley.
Pardon me for asking, sir, but who was that gentleman?
That, Huxley, was the devil's emissary. And I find myself involved with him.
How am I to understand that, sir?
It is probably best that you don't, Huxley. Just hope, as I do, that Fenton's mission will be a success. It may be all we have left.
Ah, what a very pleasant journey. A bite to eat in the restaurant car, a few bottles of Bavarian beer, and a good snooze. I need to get to Wewelsburg Castle as quickly as possible. I've still got a head start over the Countess, but I'll need it to find the Piri-Reis map before she gets here. The station guard must know the way. Good evening. Excuse me.
Good evening, sir. What brings you here so late in the day?
I'm a tourist, and rather than go to the Olympic Games or visit one of Germany's many outstanding cities with their bars and restaurants and women, I decided to visit the famous Wewelsburg Castle instead. I'm beginning to wonder why, but I'm stuck here now. Do you know the quickest way to get there?
I'm very sorry, sir. Wewelsburg Castle is closed to visitors right now.
You're kidding. No, you're really not, are you? I've endured quite a ride just to come see this bloody thing.
Oh, what a shame. But the castle has been under military control for some weeks now, sir. All of the access routes have been sealed off, and the guards are patrolling the castle surroundings.
Why exactly is that?
I find it better not to ask. Besides, I was only posted to this station a month ago.
This is stupid. What do I do now?
Well, you are not the first person to drop by wanting to visit the castle in the last couple of days. I'd advise you to wait for the next train. There's one going to Paderborn in 2 hours. I'm afraid there's not much you can do here to kill the time. The station building is closed due to renovations, hence why I am standing outside in this awful weather. You could, of course, take a walk to Buren. It's not far away. There's a road leading directly into town from this crossroad. The guest house at the market should be open. You could warm up a bit and wait for the train there.
You know, I think I'll just enjoy some fresh air after the long train journey, even if it is raining cats and dogs. Is it okay if I wait here?
Of course, sir.
Thanks.
Damn, now what? The castle's right there. There's got to be another way in. Some facts on local history. According to this, the castle was built in the 11th century. The text refers to many renovations and extensions, as well as changes in ownership. Hang on a minute. This could be interesting. The mountain under the castle has an old tunnel system. Ore was mined there from the 18th century onwards. The lords of the castle used the passages of the mines as a hiding place or escape route during times of siege. However, the tunnels were closed down just before the war. That means there was once a connection between the mine and the castle. Maybe it still exists. My hands aren't dirty. The station's being renovated, so everyone has to wait on the platform in the cold. Typical. The station's being... could come in handy. It's tied tight. I'll try and scratch the moss away. There it is. This rope prevents the handcar from rolling onto the main track. It's tied tight. It's tied tight. I could probably saw through the rope with the wire. I've got the patience and the skill. I'm just lacking the drive. The guard'll have a fit when he sees the handcar roll past the platform. It would be kind of wicked to do it for no reason. It won't open as long as it's chained up. It's tied tight. It's screwed securely to the carriage. An old It won't open as... I need a coin.
A thin steel cable.
If it doesn't stop raining, if it doesn't... The handcar won't go anywhere as long as it's tied up. It's tied tight. The handcar... It's tied tight. The station guard won't be happy if I remove his firefighting equipment. Two tools crossed, a hammer and a pickaxe. This is either a mine or the Center for Dyslexic Soviets. It's tied tight. I should be able to saw through the rope. Then the handcar will roll past the platform. That should keep the guard occupied for a moment or two. Then I'll have some peace and quiet to find the entrance to the mine. Let's go.
What the? Stop! Halt!
As long as no one complains, do what you like. It's good to get rid of some pent-up aggression every now and again. I'll sever the chain, then I can open the door. It's a memorial cross. Seen better days. There are some candles burning on the pedestal in front of it. I'm sure nobody will mind if I take a candle with me.
I'll put the candle in the lantern.
Christ, it's a bloody maze down here. I've got no choice. It's my only way into the castle. Besides, in my experience, you find the most useful things in the queerest places. Poor guy. Let's hope I don't end up like him. This place is a maze. I hope these stairs lead up to the castle. Or some nice young German girl's bedroom. I think I've ended up in the castle. I never thought this would actually work. Lucky there's no one here. This is some kind of workshop. I suppose it'd be too much to ask to climb out of the mines and run straight into the map. Well, exploring never gets boring. That is what they say, isn't it? A threaded hook that's been screwed into the wall. It won't pull out. I might be able to bend it or break it, but I can't pull it out of the beam in one piece. I always wanted one of these old-style nutcrackers. This fire would be comforting, if I wasn't deep behind enemy lines on a life-or-death mission. This fire...
How are you coming along with the inventory?
Nearly finished, Herr Feldwebel. I still need to catalog the objects from Berlin.
Okay, but it is essential that we finish the inventory today. The remaining exhibits will be arriving from Berlin tomorrow.
Jawohl, Herr Feldwebel.
Did he say inventory? Maybe it says where the Piri-Reis map is stored. If only I could get a look over his shoulder. I can't lug an entire set of armor around with me for 3 reasons. First, it's dead heavy. Second, it'll make me look silly. And third, this is supposed to be a stealth mission. I'll just take the gauntlets, because they're cool. Well, it's not Argali, but it'll do. Of course. I can just use the nutcracker to unscrew the hook. Why didn't I think of that before? I'll jam the hook into his mouth and then unscrew it like a pair of pliers. Moving it would make way too much noise. I'll take some with me as backup, in case I get caught. I'll screw the hook into the crack.
I hope you like your new home, guys.
Sorry guys, but sacrifice is just an intrinsic part of war. That was quick. They've melted down like butter.
I'll pour some of the molten tin into the hollow in the candlestick. Don't ask me how I did it, but I've bored out the solidified tin. It's now a lovely round shape. Almost like a coin, you might say.
I think I know how to get to the station, and I've seen all there is to see in the mine. I'll take the quick route. What do you know? It actually worked. I could make a mint. Get it? Because I'm making money to use in a sweet. You know what? Never mind. 4 fizzy sweets fell out the bottom. The sweets will probably dissolve in the rainwater. I'll pour some water into the pot.
The sweets are dissolving in the water. I've soaked the pelt with lemon water. There, spick and span.
I think I know the route pretty well now. Nothing interesting left in the mine. I'll head straight up to the castle. Okay, I'll hang the mirror up here. Nice view. Believe it or not, I can't reach it from here. A tower. Nazis. I hate these guys. It's a tower. I see trees. The telescope's pointing toward the forest, and I can't turn it. It seems to have rusted. The telescope's attached with a metal clamp. Maybe I can loosen it with the drill. Praise be the laws of optics. I can make out every word. If the soldier would just move his hand a little to the side, then perfect. There it is. Exhibit 104C. The Piri-Reis map, stored in the crypt in the North Tower. The problem with answers is they always give rise to new questions. Where the devil is the North Tower? I'll take it down again. I'll unscrew the hook. There's probably a lot fewer people who'd be happy to shoot me on sight down in the village. But what can you do? I can see a few houses down there. That must be the village of Buren the guy at the station mentioned. It's too dark and I'm too far away to make out any details. That's better. Now I can make out the individual buildings. Some kind of marketplace. The village church. Wait a moment. Churches always point west, don't they? With the altar in the east. The main entrance is facing away from me. So, looking at the church, the two small towers to my left and right must be on the east-west axis. So the north tower must be on the other side of the castle. But how am I supposed to get all the way over there? I think I can safely put the fire out now. I'll just throw the skin over. Great, the fire's out. Though it now smells like a wild pig's marital sty in here. Now the fire's out, I can see the ladder rungs more clearly. They definitely lead up to the roof. The ladder rungs are still too hot to hold. The gloves should protect me from the heat, climbing up the chimney to steal people's treasured possessions. I'm like the anti-Santa, only trimmer. Luckily, I'm not afraid of heights, or as we've established, anything at all. Apart from Argali's. And Kim, when she's in a huff. I'll try to get in through one of the windows. Okay, I've reached the North Tower, but I don't see any ancient research objects or artifacts. The inventory said the items are kept in the crypt. Thinking about it, this doesn't really look like a crypt to me. It must be one floor lower. I'll have to find a way down. A round stone slab with some kind of occult symbol. This slab's separate from the rest of the floor. I can see the seam running along the edges. That said, I can't lift it with my bare hands. Let's attack this thing. There, I've drilled a small hole. I've screwed the hook into the drill hole. It's lodged pretty tight. Let's see if the crank handle still works. Fenton, you old dog, you've done it again. The chandelier's attached to the hook, which is screwed into the slab in the floor. When I turn the crank, the whole thing comes away. Shame there's nobody here to congratulate me. Ah, there's a cable here. Maybe I can climb down on it. Hopefully it'll take my weight. Looks like I'm in the right place, finally. Not that I'm complaining. The documents are under lock and key behind a thick sheet of glass. There's a sort of dossier on this podium. I'll just skim it quickly. It outlines the Tula Society's central objectives. According to this, the Society was founded in the early 1920s with the aim of restoring the knowledge of lost civilizations for its own use. The Tula Society's influence extends into the highest echelons of the German Reich. This gives them complete carte blanche on their activities. They can do whatever the hell they like. Seems they launched a project codenamed Vril under the direction of our old friend, Countess von Hagenhild. The focus of this project is the search for Shambhala. The Tula Society believes that a vast store of ancient knowledge is being hoarded there. The source of morphogenetic fields. Morphogenetic fields? Never heard of them. But then it does ring true with what Professor Hayes was talking about, a store of ancient knowledge. If I remember the professor's description correctly, the hunters and herders of Shambhala suddenly developed into a flourishing and highly advanced society. Hayes reckons some sort of mysterious energy was responsible for the tribe's development. Is that what they mean by morphogenetic fields? These documents contain the research results of a scientist by the name of Aldrich von Hagenhild. Must be some relative of the Countess. Von Hagenhild spent his time searching for the world soul. Christ, can't these people just use sensible names? The basis for von Hagenhild's research was the concept that for an organism to develop as it should, there must be some immaterial power steering it in the right direction. Basically, an invisible blueprint determining form and growth. So, why does a rabbit develop the way it does? And why does a pine tree become a pine tree? Who's the architect? What tells them to grow bark? Or fancy lady rabbits? Looks like these questions led von Hagenhild to believe there was some invisible, imperceptible field that controls the development of an organism. He called it morphogenetics. Von Hagenhild explains the holistic aspect of self-organizing systems with his theory of morphogenetic fields. Basically, the field stores forms or behavioral patterns that every member of a species draws from and adds to. This was his Western take on something the East had known for some time. In Far Eastern philosophy, people refer to his morphogenetic fields as the divine essence of nature, or as the soul. He thought he'd identified the soul. He didn't think the soul was a spiritual thing. He thought it was a fundamental principle of nature that had been warped and confused by religions the world over. He even thought he had proof. He refers to certain experiments he carried out. Ugh. This is a lot of information to take in. Von Hagenhild really believed that in these morphogenetic fields, he'd identified the soul, the central power behind all living things. These documents refer to several experiments which are supposed to prove the existence of morphogenetic fields. Von Hagenhild wanted to prove that every species obtains its entire being, its form, its instincts, from these fields, like some kind of collective memory. These inherited memories control not just the form, but also the behavior, the capabilities, and the knowledge of the relevant species. He called it a group soul. Experiment number 1. The rat experiment. The experiment investigated the capability of rats to find their way through a maze. At the beginning of the experiment, the rats needed 165 attempts before they could get through the maze without a mistake. But a few rat generations later, the number of attempts had dropped to 20. Conclusion. The first batch of rats learned how to navigate the maze, and this instinct was somehow added to the rats' group soul. When later rats navigated the maze, they somehow had access to this ancestral memory, even if the rats weren't directly related. Experiment number 2. The ape experiment. 2 ape colonies of the same species were isolated and observed on 2 small islands in the Indian Ocean. Von Hagenhild's team taught the apes on one island a few new behavioral patterns. The other colony was left undisturbed and uninfluenced, so while the apes on the first island are learning how to open tins and the like, the others are eating bananas. Several months later, the apes on the undisturbed island began displaying these new skills, even though they'd never come into contact with the other colony. Von Hagenhild's conclusion: all members of a species are connected by morphogenetic fields. They share a subconscious collective memory. He thought this theory could explain a lot. Animals' sense for impending danger, telepathy, sixth sense in humans. Von Hagenhild also concludes that members of a group can learn something new at a far quicker pace when the vast majority of members of that same group have already acquired the knowledge. These fields are basically stores of information that are effective across space, and in rare cases, even time. Von Hagenhild presumes this would go some way towards explaining premonitions. Human beings sporadically accessing morphogenetic fields from varying points in the future. It all sounds very far-fetched, but then it does explain a lot. Supposing morphogenetic fields really exist, they'd be the answer to problems science has been trying to solve for centuries. And if all these fields add up, if there's some kind of central repository of all this information, Christ, it'd basically be the scientific definition of God. I'm beginning to understand why the Tula Society's quite so interested. And if there's even the slightest chance it's all true, why they need to be stopped. Is this the Piri Reis map? It's hand-drawn, ancient. There are some notes next to it. Finally, von Hagenhild became convinced that there must be a type of definitive field from which all other fields are derived. All manifestations have an origin. He tried to back this up with historical evidence. A world soul, for instance, had been proposed by Plato over 2,000 years ago. But what really convinced him was the discovery of an old, mysterious map of the world, drawn by the Ottoman general Piri Reis. I knew it! It's the map! Let's see. Further on in the text, von Hagenhild discovered that the general had drawn up the map in the 16th century, using sources which were thousands of years old. But how could they have known at that time what the world looked like? He posed the theory that a civilization had existed then, which possessed extraordinary knowledge and skill. He discovered a marking on the map, which was written in an unfamiliar language. Research in Far Eastern libraries revealed it was a long-forgotten Tibetan script. Once translated, it claimed the marking indicated the source of all knowledge, the center of the morphogenetic fields. It was a hidden valley in the Himalayas. Shambhala. Shortly before he died in 1934, von Hagenhild passed the responsibility of continuing the research onto his daughter. Professor Hayes was right. About everything. The Tula Society arrived at the exact same conclusion as he did. They were just one step ahead. Lucky I'm one step more. Richard used the first key to pass through the gate in that secret room in the monastery. I just need to find the second. The Nazis can't enter Shambhala without it, and as it happens, I have the eye, and I have the map. I just need to use them to find the location of the second key. My last hope of finding Richard is based on an ancient legend. Great. It's time to cross everything I've got. And I mean everything. Must be more of the Tula Society's artifacts and research objects. The documents are under lock and key behind a thick sheet of glass. Not a good idea. I might trigger an alarm. Not a good idea. The documents are under lock. The documents are... It could take days to search all these boxes for the Piri-Reis map. Must be more of the Tula Society's artifacts and research objects. Must be more of the Tula Society's artifacts and research objects. Is this the Piri-Reis map? It's hand-drawn, ancient. There are some notes next to it. Finally, von Hagenhild became convinced that there must be a type of definitive field from which all other fields are derived. All manifestations have an origin. He tried to back this up with historical evidence, but what... I knew it! Let's see. Von Hagen... He just... One structural... Luck and... My last... Fingers crossed. I've come all this way, but I'm still a little surprised it actually worked. The Piri-Reis map really is the map of the Guardians of Shambhala. Or at least it was drawn to their specifications. So Professor Hayes was also right in thinking the priests of Shambhala took the second key artifact to India and hid it in a temple there. And now I know exactly where to look. On the Kathiawar Peninsula, just north of Bombay. Thinking about it, I actually know the commander of the British regiment in Rajkot. If the old drunkard hasn't been transferred for disciplinary reasons again, I'm sure he'll lend me a hand. Or at least a decent bottle. Then, I'll just have to find the temple and get hold of the key artifact. What could be simpler?
Looks like the road ends here. This village is supposed to be the last settlement. Other than that, there's nothing but thick jungle in every direction. The commander of the local troops led me this far. But now I need to quiz a local about the temple. I have no idea where it is. Hello? Hello? Jesus, where is everyone? Looks like this place was abandoned pretty recently. Hello? Is anybody there?
The Nazis can't have been here already. Can they? Damn it. I'll have to find the temple on my own. I'll take that cloth with me too. It's dried up in the heat. A man can never have enough feathers. The blood dried up hours ago. I can't soak it up. What is that? It's a small goat. It appears to be hiding underneath the hut. Well, no, it's definitely hiding underneath the hut. I can see it from here. All this military training, and now I realize I never learned how to coax a goat out of hiding.
Bah! Bah!
Damn, it's gone further underneath the hut. I'll just take a short wander into the jungle. Maybe the villagers are out foraging or whatever it is villagers do.
Hey, you there! Where do you think you are going?
Christ! You frightened the life out of me! What the hell are you doing hiding in there?
Get away from the edge of the jungle. Come here!
What's wrong?
Don't ask, just do what I say.
Have I done something wrong? Sorry, I didn't mean to sneak around. I just wasn't sure where everyone had got to.
There's a man-eater about.
A what?
Doesn't anything strike you as strange around here?
Well, yes.
He came into the village last night while we were sleeping.
Who?
The man-eater. Listen to me. The beast is still out there. I can feel it in my bones.
And you're the only survivor?
No, during these months, only women, children, and old people live in the village. The young men work on the tea plantations. When he came, there was no one here to protect us. Those who could walk packed their things and left this morning.
What sort of animal are we talking about here? I'm, something of an expert.
A tiger, what else?
A tiger?
It was no normal tiger, it was a man-eater. Tigers normally avoid settlements. They hunt in the jungle. But now and again, a few of the particularly hungry ones stray into the villages. I remember the old stories from my childhood. When a man-eater has picked out a village, he stalks it for days until he can strike again.
When you put it like that, it does sound kind of scary. But I have a very important task. And I'm looking for someone who can help me.
What brings you here, stranger?
I'm looking for an old monastery. Or a temple. Do you know anywhere around here that fits the description?
As a matter of fact, there is an old temple nearby.
Great. How do I get there? Could you show me?
You may have no instinct for survival, stranger, but I wish to retain what is left of my life. I cannot leave the village until the man-eater is dealt with.
Okay. Tell you what. I'll have a look around and think of something. If I deal with the tiger, will you lead me to the temple?
Take my word for it, stranger.
Great. It's a deal.
Be careful out there.
There's thick jungle in every direction, save for a small trail leading southwest. It looks pretty impenetrable. I'd need a guide to find my way through. I think I'll stay on the path for the time being. I'll follow the path leading out of the village so I don't get lost. Let's see where it leads to. What is that sound? Christ, there really is a tiger out there. I never knew they sounded like that. Thinking about it, I'm not a vet, but this guy might be injured. No doubt he'd still eat me given half a chance. I should stay out of his way. I don't know anything about mushrooms, but that's no reason not to pick them. If they taste foul, I can just throw them away. The tiger's still back there. I probably shouldn't do anything to attract his attention. That includes climbing trees. Cats. Bloody things have been following me around ever since Hong Kong. They just keep getting bigger. But seriously, what am I going to do once I've got his attention? Other than feed him my innards. That's the man-eating tiger I'm supposed to be dealing with. It sounds like it's in pain.
Hello?
Yes? Any luck in hunting the tiger?
Yes, I saw the tiger. You're right. He's still lurking about.
Told you so.
I think I know why it came into the village last night as well. He looks injured. He's out in the swamp making sad noises. Would that explain why he's acting so aggressively?
Quite possibly. But regardless, I am staying in my hut, and don't go getting any wild ideas yourself.
But I promised to help.
As you please. Is there anything else?
Is there any chance I can convince you to come out for just 10 minutes? The tiger's out in the swamps. I don't think he really poses a threat.
I forgot I was the tourist and you were the local. Believe me, it poses a threat.
All right. I'm on it. I found these mushrooms in the jungle. Are they edible?
I would only eat them if you have sleeping problems. These mushrooms contain a natural sedative. We use them to treat minor injuries. But I have heard of a Brahmin who performs operations on injured animals and sedates them with the poison from these mushrooms during the operations.
Interesting. So you just chuck them down the creature's throat?
No, the sedative must get into the bloodstream. The mushrooms are cooked and the juice that escapes is then injected. It requires a bit of experience to get the dosage right. Too much of the stuff could knock out a huge water buffalo, never mind a small pet.
No problem. Caution is my middle name. I'll see what I can do.
Good luck.
Hello?
Yes. Any news?
No, not yet. I just wanted to check you were okay.
I am okay. I am safe in here.
Good. Then I'll get going.
It's pretty thick. I can't just pull it down.
In you go. The basket's already broken, so I might as well finish cutting it up. I've dismembered the entire thing. All that's left are these thin sticks of wood and the hemp stitching. Oh, and these 2 black stones that were inside.
They should go up nicely.
I can tie one of the pottery shards to one of the sticks. Great. I'll use a few fibers from the hemp cord to make fletching for the dart. These reeds will make good kindling. I'll leave them here. I could probably manufacture an operational blowgun. The dart looks like it'll fly straight, but I'm missing one little thing.
I've nestled the reeds in amongst the firewood. These reeds will...
Hello?
Yes? Any luck in hunting the tiger?
I found these stones in the village square. I don't suppose they're, valuable by any chance?
No. These are flint stones. Keep them by all means.
Oh, well, thanks anyway. I'll see what I can do.
Good luck.
The reeds caught. The logs shouldn't be far behind. If the old guy is telling the truth, I can boil these mushrooms into some kind of natural sedative. That was quick. There's a dark sap oozing out. It's too... Let's get this off the fire without burning my hands.
I'll dip the tip in the homemade tranquilizer. Voila! A perfect tranquilizer.
This should put the tiger out of action for a while. I've not exactly got the best shot, though. I could hide behind this tree and lure him over. But if he doesn't cross the water, he'll be on the opposite side of the tree to me. And if he comes to the shore, he'll round the trunk and wind up about 3 feet from my nose. If the sedative doesn't work, I'll have about 500 pounds of furry death on my hands. I'll have to lead him somewhere else and set up a distraction so he doesn't, eat me or anything. I might give this a bit more thought. He looks hungry. Goats eat green things, don't they? Okay, little guy. Fancy an adventure?
I'll tie a piece of the cord around the goat's neck, so it doesn't run off before I'm done with it.
I'll tie him up here. I hope this works. Meh.
Don't worry, you're not bait. You're just a distraction.
Ugh. Leeches, dysentery, mud. Not very enticing. Okay, preparations are in place. I'll lure the tiger into the village, then hide behind the tree in the square. While the tiger's busy with the goat, I should have just enough time to hit him with the dart. Let's hope the sedative works. For my sake, as well as the goat's. Do or die. Only one shot at this. Concentrate.
Have you shot it?
No, I've just sedated it.
Sedated? And what happens when it wakes up?
Look, he's injured. There's a nail stuck in his front paw.
Ah, you are correct. He has obviously fallen into a trap.
You set up traps to piss these guys off.
No. Many farmers in this area protect their fields and plantations from all sorts of animals with spiked traps such as these. If a tiger gets injured by such a trap, it cannot hunt in its usual way.
And it gets angry.
It begins to look for easier prey.
Chickens, goats, people.
Exactly.
Okay, let's pull the nail out. Then we can take him out into the jungle and hopefully he'll wake up and wander back to his natural habitat.
This could work. I extend my thanks and the thanks of the entire village to you, stranger.
You know, thanks are great and all, but don't forget our deal. Let me take a look at this guy's foot. You find something we can use to move him.
Okay. I'll fetch a cart and we can take it to the other side of the valley.
Okay, we're done.
Then I will lead you to the old temple as promised. Follow me. This is it.
Here? But I don't see a temple.
Behind me in the lagoon.
What do you mean, in the lagoon?
According to records, there was a narrow valley here in which a temple stood until a few hundred years ago. One day, after a heavy storm, the valley was flooded along with the temple. Since this day, everything that remains of the temple is under the surface of the water. Only this statue standing on the roof of the temple bears witness to what lies beneath.
Do you think anything's still intact down there?
I cannot swim, how would I know?
Okay. Well, thanks for your help.
It was no problem, stranger. I had better make my way to the next village to tell the women that the tiger is no longer a danger. Would you care to accompany me?
Women, you say? No, I really ought to get back to saving the world. Thank you, though.
As you wish. Good luck.
I usually need it.